Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Well, today I want to deal with a problem that's common to a lot of triathletes or new triathletes just coming to the sport. Even old triathletes can sometimes see problems that overwhelm them to a certain extent. I was asked by a lady called Anita, who's doing a triathlon at the weekend, just with a 300-metre pool swim, and she's finding that incredibly difficult. So I said, send me a video, I'll see if I can analyse it for you a little bit and perhaps help. Well, I think we can, so we're going to go to the computer, have a look at Anita, and then take it from there.
So this is Anita just about to start her swim. She's just got in the water, and this effectively should be a warm-up. So we can see that from what we're looking at, she's breathing threes. She's got a 6-beat kick. That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're not over kicking. We have a situation where she's bringing her hand forward, not her arm forward. But remember, what we're trying to do here is actually get through a swim. This is breathing threes all the way through the length. But as she comes to the end of the length, she makes a stop, which is really negative in swimming. She thinks she's going continuously, but that's a stop, and that's various breaths at the end of a length. Let's just go back a second. So as you're coming into the end of a length, if you're unsure about it, you're not going to do a tumble turn, you breathe 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Breathe in, turn, push off, breathe out, breathe in again. That should have been the sequence that she took. But taking that breath at the end meant that she's used to being a sort of panic breath in that situation. And that panic breath really doesn't help her in her swimming. So the first thing we need to do is get that end to be part of her breathing process. So you just come in, take the in-breath, get underwater, exhale, and inhale again with your first stroke.
So one of the most common errors that I see swimmers make is starting out with a breathing pattern that they simply can't maintain once they get underway. And it's far easier to start out breathing easily than it is to start out breathing with difficulty. And breathing every 3 or 4 strokes sometimes is too much, especially with adrenaline running and the nervousness that you have naturally when going into a race, especially for the first time. So it's much easier just to let yourself go. Now another thing Anita was doing was she actually set off at a pace of about 50 strokes a minute. And I think she could just tone that down a bit to about 42, 43 strokes a minute and breathe 2s, and then suddenly breathing becomes easy, and when she gets to each end, and you push off, and that end becomes just part of your natural stroke pattern. When the end is part of your natural stroke pattern, it just runs really smoothly, and the next stroke is just part of something you ordinarily can do.
So you're coming to the end of the second length, and once again you stop. Instead of making the end part of your breathing pattern, suddenly you've stopped, and that's negativity in your own mind. I can't do this, I need a breath. If you'd made it part of your breathing pattern, that would have just been perfectly normal, part of your swimming. You are fit enough, easily, to do a 300-metre swim. And so that stopping pattern is just re-emphasising in your brain, I need more breath, I'm out of breath. Now on the 4th length, Anita starts breathing every 4 strokes. 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is putting her into even more oxygen debt than she had originally when she was breathing 3. So she's actually taking longer to breathe. And this is making it mentally even more difficult to complete. She's breathed 3 there and 3 there. But you really want to keep your breath in control. It's controlling this breathing. There's another 4. It's controlling this breathing that's hugely important. It's not effectively which side you breathe, just control it. But what we've proven here is Anita prefers to breathe to the left.
Now someone might say, well, perhaps Anita's not fit enough, but she's been a runner all her life. She can run 5k very easily because she does that type of thing just as in the normal course of events. It's the mentality, the problem of swimming that's really affecting her, and definitely the problem of breathing. Now, most people who have problems in swimming are having problems with breathing. They're not having problems with their stroke per se. They might not have a perfect stroke, but then again, very few people do. It's always the breathing that tends to get them completely out of their depth. Once you control that breathing, you're within your depth, within your comfort zone. And within your comfort zone, I know that she, at least, can swim easily 300 metres. Now we're into Anita's second 100, and we'll note that she's already breathing every 2 strokes, and she's breathing to the left. So that's clearly her preferred side. But the fact that she's breathing every 2 strokes means that that has become effectively a failure, because she started breathing 3s, then 4s. So instead of making that failure, let's make that part of her overall plan. Again, she's out of breath. At the end, she stops. That's become yet another failure. We need to stop that. That has to be part of her normal stroking pattern. And normal. But is there anything we can actually do to help in the stroke? I think there actually is. If we look at Anita's stroke here, you can see that the leading arm is disappearing from the surface at a very fast rate. And this is unbalancing her stroke. So she's pushing her head out the water a touch, unbalancing herself, and then coming forward. And by the time that's happening, she's really lost any power in the stroke, and it's quite unbalanced. So what I'd like to see her do is I'd like to see her retain that leading arm on the surface. And as she brings her arm over, instead of rushing the hand forward, as you can see there, to bring the whole arm over as one, so that it comes to the shoulder in line. When she's reached the shoulder, then release that leading hand from the surface, and she'll be much more balanced. For a start, when she gets there, she can start turning back her head into the water. And when you can start turning back your head into the water, then that leading arm can actually make the catch position. In the position she's doing it there, the leading arm can't make the catch position, it's pushing straight down. And from there to there, it's completely ineffective in terms of driving her forward. So long vessels really go faster, so we want to keep that hand on the surface whilst the other arm is coming forward, virtually straight, past the shoulder. Once that hand's past the shoulder, we're ready to make that catch position. Before the arm is past the shoulder, we're on our side and the hand tends to go down. So we want that weight there into a virtual catch-up position. Then she'll be straighter, longer, and those legs are likely, so instead of splay, they're just going to come together and wrap themselves around each other. So with simple little changes, I think we can make an effective swim better for Anita over 300 metres for this race of the weekend. Okay, so remember, start as you mean to go on. Keep a breathing pattern you think you can keep for the whole swim. And the only thing that should knock that out in open water is if someone's splashing you or kicking you to one side, you might have to change and breathe the other side. But apart from that, the pattern should remain the same, and then throughout the swim you're actually successful, as opposed to thinking, oh no, I've got to change this, I can't do this anymore. Now I'm sure Anita can swim 300 metres very easily, so long as she keeps her breathing in control. She's certainly fit enough and strong enough to do that. And her stroke is not disastrous. She's moving forward at a pace without any problem. And that's the same for you. Just keep your early part of your swim in control, and the last part will naturally follow. Don't get out of breath too much unless you've planned for it, and then just keep that breathing pattern going and you'll be fine. Next week it's going to be another newbie swimming problem that just might help you again. So keep them peeled, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.